Hello and welcome to the Nicole Mason Show on dcradio.gov 96.3 HD4. We are excited today to have an awesome and phenomenal trailblazing woman. This show, of course, features women who are movers and shakers in their own respective rights and industries, women who have taken trials, turned them into triumphs, women who can provide strategies for your success to do the same. And today I want to read just a little bit of this extensive bio of my sister and friend, Dr. Tasheka L. Green, wife, mother, influential educator, transformational coach, thought-provoking speaker, visionary, 15-time best-selling author, and more. Dr. Green leaves her audiences transformed, inspired, energized, and renewed. Her competency in education, servant leadership, and transformational coaching influence personal, professional, leadership, and educational development in the individuals she meets, teaches, and reaches. Because of her competency in bringing coherence to improving people, culture, systems, and structures, Dr. Green is sought after by many. The work of Dr. Green garnered her a feature in the Harvard University School of Education, Harvard edX course, Introduction to DataWise, a collaborative process to improve learning and teaching, and many other features and segments. Listen, this bio is extensive. I want to jump right in. You can read the rest of her bio when we post it onto our page and our site. I want to jump right in. Welcome to the Nicole Mason Show.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me today as a guest. I appreciate you.
Yeah. So let's jump right in. First, I want you to share with the audience, who is Dr. Tasheka Green? And let me just tell you, before you start, I know that's a loaded question. That's a loaded question, but I think it's important for the audience to know who they have, who they're listening to, and who they have before them, if you will, so that they can really tune in, listen up to what you have to say.
Absolutely, Dr. Nicole, thank you so much. But I always say first, I am a vessel of God. That's first. That's the first assignment. And then after that, I'm a wife. So I have to put that in perspective, that I'm a wife and a mom of 3 children, 24, 11, and 9. And then all those other pieces come into play. So I've been in education for over 20 years now. I have used that in so many different aspects in schools and school districts and different organizations. I'm also the president, CEO, and founder of To Everything There's a Season. And also the Women of Virtue Walk in Excellence. And I know we'll get in more detail about all of those different things. I am a publisher and an author as well. And most of my work, as you stated, is I provide coaching and consultant in the area of personal, professional, leadership, and educational development. And I help people to identify the greatest potential within themselves so they can maximize that and make improvement. Because, you know, we get so caught up on how am I doing, but we need to get caught up on how can I continue to get better? Because if we continue to get better, then the people that we are assigned to and that we're given charge over, they're going to get better as well. And so as we get into today, I know you're going to ask lots of questions that will expound on who I am.
Yeah, and that's so amazing and so awesome. I have to start off our time just really asking you about your why, because I know that, you know, it's the why that gives the passion, that drives the initiatives, that pushes us to our victories and our success, even when we have obstacles and oppositions that we are confronted with. So tell me, what's your why in what you do, particularly as it relates to personal and professional development, as you just talked about, but wanting people to be the best versions of themselves?
Absolutely. So I always say this, that education is my calling, teaching is my gift, inspiring is my passion, and serving is my purpose. And when I put that all together, then that will help to share with you my why. But if I want to go deeper than that, my why really stemmed from me losing my mother in 2010 of stage 4 stomach cancer. She was 53 years old. She was diagnosed in February, and 30 days later, she had passed. And within that space, during that time, I was 7 months pregnant. I was also the principal of a school in Fort George Meade, Maryland. And I was just going about life as normal, going to work every day, showing up great, like you always say, Dr. Nicole, doing what I was supposed to do within my calling, within my, my gifts and things of that nature. But then when my mom passed away, it shifted so many things in my life. It turned my ordinary days into extraordinary days. And with that being said, it made me really to see that, things are not as they seem. And we need to grasp hold of who we are, why God called us to do the things we do, what we were designed to do. And we better grasp it quickly. Remember, I said my mom was 53, never had been sick, was diagnosed, and then 30 days later, she had passed, and she had so much more life to give, but she couldn't do it. And so she literally passed that mantle to me to carry that work, and that not only to carry that work in the community and with women, but really to carry it and understand. Tasheka, why do you show up great every day? Is it just for the people in front of you, or is it for the masses? And that made me really understand that my why was bigger than what I had settled for. And so I began to launch out on the deep, and I just began to walk the water, and I began to just activate the faith. And like we always say, put on my big girl pants and do exactly what I was called to do. So every day I always say, Dr. Nicole, if you're still here, go and live a purposeful life, because there's purpose in you. Find what it is and do it, because someone is waiting for you.
Yeah, that's so good. And we have, a lot of that in common as it relates to our moms. And that's one of the reasons why I really support the work that you do, particularly as it relates around women's empowerment, helping women to do what they have been called to do. But I have to ask you, my mom was 57 when she passed away as well. And, I know that a lot of who I am stems from who she was and all that she had wrapped up in her. In fact, my mantra, show up great, comes from her. She would say to me, Nicole, it's not what you have on, it's how you show up. You deserve to be wherever you find yourself, and you need to go in there like you deserve to be there. I want you to talk about that experience. I too was 8 months pregnant when my mom passed away. Talk about what kind of strategies you use to pull yourself through that, to begin to take that pain and turn it into purpose, because that's exactly what you did. Because someone may be listening, particularly as you know, around these holiday seasons, people really have a hard time. And so share with the audience some of what you did to pull yourself through and to, get yourself reacclimated and recalibrated to your new normal without your mom.
Absolutely. That is great. That's great. And with that being said, when I was in that season, and that also birthed the name of my business to everything there is a season. When I was in that season, it was one of the worst experiences I have ever experienced. And, I fell into depression, and, I fell into, anxiety and all these other aspects and grief that comes along with it. But in that same space, I was like, God, I need help. Like, I need help. And when I began to pray and hear the voice of the Lord, he said, just to write. And so what I started to do is I began to just write like everything that had just transpired, not only with my mom, but within that year as well. And once I finished writing, I started writing that in 2010. And it seemed like I wrote the book before I actually came up with the name. And so as I began to write, I noticed that the fall, something happened, the winter, something happened, the spring, something happened. And then that's what evolved to everything there's a season. And to everything there's a season was birthed out of that experience. My pain, as you said, turned to purpose. What helped me was to writing. It's very therapeutic. Not only that helped me, but also surrounding myself with people that had answers, surrounding myself with people that I knew that could help me, that could pull me through, not to be in this isolated, depressed state anymore, not to be anxious anymore, or to share those with the people that I say carry the heart of God and not have hidden intentions and agenda, or basically, say, oh, you're going to be all right. No, like you said, if you don't understand the loss of a mother and being 8 months pregnant, you wouldn't be able to be my answer. And so you need to seek those people that truly understand and have those answers for you. And then not only doing that, as you are going through these, I call growing pains, then discover what means these stones, like what comes out of this. And what came out of it was the Depressie Offer Bulgin Memorial Foundation, where I give scholarships to students each year and a monetary donation of an amount, as well as Women of Virtue Walking in Excellence, because my mother was a example of a woman of virtue. She gave to the needy. She reached out. My sister and I woke up and we called her blessed. She was the example that we needed to be so that we could be good wives and moms and stewards and community and, like we said, servant leadership. And so all of that came out of this. And so what I do now is during these times and during these seasons, and you speak so much of this all the time, and I'm grateful for that because you are a support to me as well, is that to maximize those memories and live that. And not only live that, but walk out the legacy. Legacy is not what you've accomplished, but it's what you prepared others to do. And like you said, Nicole, your mom, my mom, and others that are listening, your mom or a matriarch in your life has prepared you for something. Go and do it and be great at whatever it was called for you to do.
That's so rich. It's so rich. It's so much locked in there, and when I think about the one aspect of the company that you started and how you honor your mom and just how it's grown over the years and how you have so many people supporting you in sponsorships and championing how you are moving to be a blessing to other people. Someone may be listening saying, well, how do I get started? How did you form your board? How did you decide what you were going to do? How did you go after those big sponsors that have really supported your vision? Because that's what it is. You put a vision out there and people have grabbed a hold to not just the vision, but the heart behind the vision, because that's what I connect to. I connect to your heart because I can feel your heart honoring your mom. And so talk about, just how you would recommend somebody to just get started, coming off of, I call them, those grief waves when you're trying to figure things out, trying to move yourself forward, and just really how to take that and just get started. What would you recommend?
Absolutely. What I would recommend is that with that vision, I always say, who are the people that can help you to articulate that vision? Because, God gives you the vision based off of the experience or whatever the work or purpose that you have. But who are those people that you need to help you to get there along that path, and then begin to build that? And so, I think about, my family and my friends, and not only that, but masters at their craft. There's nothing new under the sun. There's people that have already accomplished these things and mastered these things. Go to them, meet with them, network with them. I think the first network event I went to in 2014, I went by myself. I didn't even know what I was going to, but I showed up and I stood there, and then here comes along, and I'm going to say her name, Peggy Morris of Sister for Sister Network. And she said, hello, how are you? And we started talking, and I started sharing with her, and she said, honey, you done met the right one today. And so with that being said, there's, a group, an organization that I joined. They're always supporting me and pouring into me, and I'm pouring back. And so that's how you get started. Nike has a saying that says, just do it. But I always like to say, done. Like, don't just do it, get it done. Like, go and move it with, tenacity and get it done. Also, relationships. When you begin to establish your business or your nonprofit or whatever aspect, it's all about those good, positive relationships that you build with people, with organizations, because when you establish them, they'll just continue to pour into you because they believe in your vision and what you're doing. And, I always say this, Nicole, just because we make it look easy, Nicole, it's not easy at all. And this, we are up against so many things all the time. But you have to understand that you never, ever was given the spirit to give up. You were only given the spirit to endure. So when those things come up, you have to say, not why me, but why not me? Because there's something great in you. You were built for this. You can do this. And so you need to ensure that that enduring spirit show up and you continue it, because I'm going into year number 8 now. And do you know how many people have started something, but they didn't finish it? And there's one verse in scripture that says, when you put your hand to the plow, don't look back, because if you do, you're not fit for the kingdom. So for whatever work that you were called to do, not do it, get it done.
Yes, come on here, preach. Oh man, I love it. I love it. I'm telling you, you're absolutely correct. It's that stick to itness that we need, and really understanding that there is a greater work beyond us. And we have to focus on that to keep ourselves moving, to keep ourselves going. And that leads me to, when you talk about all these different things that we're confronted, we make it look easy, but it really is not. Just share, how do you have harmony? Because I know there isn't a balance. How do you have harmony with all of the different roles that you are wearing? Wife, mother, CEO, educator, a consultant, right? You're consultant in education, higher education, all of those different pieces, all of those different parts of your life, and they're all important. So how do you manage all of those different spots?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when I think about, like you said, balance and everything, I also think about boundaries. And with that being said, I always prioritize it. So you already heard me first say, my priority is God, my family, and everything else. And so I have to ensure that I keep that in perspective when I'm doing things. I share, but I have younger children as well. And my children are actually still home virtual learning. So not only am, all those other things, I'm still doing that. And so I really have to have balance, because what I realize is that if I don't, it impacts me. And if I'm not in my best position, my best shape, my best self, I can't give nothing to nobody. And so with that being said, I really prioritize what matters the most to me. And then when it comes to the work in itself, I do the education consulting and coaching full time. And I just manage like how I'm mapping that out. Like, Monday may be a full day, but Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be days for me to prioritize my family and then to plan for the rest of the day. So it's all around, I don't say time management, but task management, how you're managing your tasks within the time. And so when you have balance, you need to prioritize, you need to have task management, and you all definitely have to do this, is take care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, then you're not going to be good for anybody else. And remember this, we know we've heard this before, but no is a complete sentence. It's okay to say no. My pastor actually said this, Bishop Wright, the other day. He said, I've earned the right to say no. And when I thought about that, I'm like, yes, I can't offer my yes to everybody, because your yes can be taken advantage of. Your yes can wear you down. Your yes can suck light of you. No, you've earned the right to say no. And people should understand your balance, your boundaries, and your no.
Girl, woo, that's so good. Yes, I love that. I've earned the right to say no. I don't have a problem with saying no.
I know, that's right.
No, right? Never have. And I think a lot of that comes from, just the impartation from my mom, just to advocate for myself early on in my life. I came out of the womb, it appears, as an advocate. And so thus, I practice law and all these different things. But let me ask you this, you talk about self-care. What do you do for self-care? Because you are so busy, you have all of these things going on, a lot of people pulling at you, pulling on you. That's one of the things that comes along with being a high achieving woman, a trailblazing woman, a woman that knows how to get things done. So share some of your self-care tips.
Absolutely. And I'm going to share self-care tips that are, things you can do right at home that doesn't cost much money and things of that nature. Because I'm realistic about this. I know we have all diverse listeners today. And so I want to stick with that first. I don't want to go to the upper end of, the spas and all that type of stuff. No, it's basically saying I block out some days on my calendar where I just do nothing and I sit still. There is something about sitting still in peace and quietness and having that opportunity to meditate or to reflect or to pray. And so that's the one way that I really do self-care, because it helps to replenish me and to restore me and to refill me. I can't give emptiness to people that need something. I can't give that to them. And so I have to be able to be fresh. And so that's one way. Another thing of self-care I like to do, I like to get in my car and just take a ride. I like to just get in the car and just ride. Don't ask me where I'm going. I don't even know. I just go, okay? I just go. And that's enjoy, especially on a beautiful day. Go ride, sit by the water and things of that nature. Those are things that I enjoy, but self-care. And also, let me tell you another trick I do. I put on the do not disturb on my phone, okay? My little son, he said, people calling you and texting you, if they're calling and texting, they need me and I'll get back to them. And if there's an emergency, they know how to definitely get in touch with me. So doing those type of things, it's okay not to respond to a call. It's okay not to text back. It's okay to shut down social media and things of that nature. All of that is self-care. Self-care is simply this: your mind, your body, your soul, and your spirit. What are you going to do to take care of that? See, we need the spa. Yes, most definitely. We need to take care of that. But really, what is it that you're doing to build up yourself so that you can continue to be great?
Yeah, that's so awesome. Let me tell you, I can appreciate getting in the car, just driving, just sitting there. I did that just last week. I just went out for a drive and, sat in the parking lot of Panera Bread, one of my favorite places. And I ate and I just sat there for about 2 hours. No radio, just listening to my own thoughts, communing with God, asking for guidance, asking for direction. And I felt so much better by the time I got home, because, life can just crowd in on us and we're trying to figure things out and, all of that. So I really appreciate that particular point about, how to take care of oneself. And so I have to ask you about this wonderful class that you have coming up. People have been asking and inquiring about this wonderful new you and phenomenal. So talk a little bit about that, because that's growing into another area of guidance and coaching for you as well. So
absolutely. And everything births out of something. And I was just even sharing that with my daughter last night when we were talking about when she did Queen in Training, it was birthed out of her being bullied. And so in 2018, I was terminated from an executive level position after being in a school system in an organization because of a change in leadership. And it was devastating to me because, I was doing what I was expected to do and more. My heart was there, my passion was there, I had good work ethics and things. And I'm thinking, wow, and so with that being said, when I was offered a different position, it was like, this is what you think of me, and I had to really understand my worth and understand my value and what I had to give. And so I was like, okay, what are you going to do here? And you're going to activate your faith and you're going to trust God. And I heard God said to me, don't cast your pearls to swine. I have greater for you. But even within that season of waiting for the greater, I started to gain all of this weight. I started to eat food for comfort. I started to become lackadaisical and movement. And you are great with the movement. Let me just say, I need to connect with you with the movement. But in the movement, and I was, 260, 70 pounds during that time. I went to the doctors, was on 4 types of blood pressure medicine, pre-diabetes, high cholesterol. And I was still young, okay? I'm young. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with you? Is this how you want to live? Is this what you want to do? And so I really had to change my mindset. around my lifestyle and my way of being. And I went to a conference called Extreme Makeover Conference. And when I was at that conference, that conference hosted by Dr. Lisa Jones, and there was a coach there named Dr. Rosalind Law. And she really spoke about, being healthy and making good choices. And so then I said, you know what? I can do this. I can change my eating habits because I needed to eat to live and not live to eat.
Yep.
And so with that being said, I embraced the vegan plant-based living lifestyle. And I'm telling you, it wasn't easy because I'm telling you, I was drinking Starbucks every day prior to that. And I literally would drive in the Starbucks parking lot and like, I want that. No, you can't. I want that. It was so animated. I mean, literally, like I'm going back and forth in the parking lot. You can do this. No, you can't. You need this. You can do this. And so I had to realize that food is an addiction. Just like we develop bad habits, we got to develop good habits. And we also have to take those things away from our ear that is expensive and that I can't do this. Yes, you can. And it's a way to do it. And so that's what I'm going to be sharing now after 3 years. I'm ready to share my journey with others that I took. And so I'm going to have this webinar on Tuesday, December 14th at 7 p.m. So please register. And already people saying, can you have another one? Because I can't make it. Yes, I will. But I'm going to give you those key essential and practical practices around that. We're actually going to talk about how whatever your favorite meal is, we're going to talk about that and how you can change it that quickly into vegan plant-based. And then we're going to talk about, how to make sure this works for your funds, and you can. So I'm excited about that. I'm not on any medicines. Everything looks great. And I've lost 95 pounds. So I'm excited to share my journey now with others. All on vegan plant-based living.
Wow. Let me tell you, it's amazing. And I'm so excited for you. And, I too, I started working on my health after I lost my mom and all of that. So it's very important to me about Black women of color in particular, and our health and what we do about it. So I'm excited about that for you. And you look absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
And so the best thing is always to be the example of what you're trying to teach people, so that you have accomplished that. And so I know that's going to be an awesome webinar, and we look forward to being able to share that on our page. And so if you send over the flyer, we'll make sure that we post that and people can know about it. And our time is wrapping up, and I want to ask you to share what's in your heart for the new year, for people who may be listening, and then share with people how they can contact you to get more information about your coaching programs, about what you have to offer.
Absolutely. So what I have been just sharing with others thus far is that you are kept promise. Dreams manifest. Just because you have not gotten there yet, don't let go. Keep holding on. Keep trusting God. Keep looking at your vision every day. Keep putting lead measures and strategies in place so that you can achieve that. Just don't give up on you. I say this all the time. Keep your promise. If you don't keep your promises to nobody else, keep them to yourself. You are a kept promise, and your dreams will be manifested in due season. They shall reap if you faint not. So I want to encourage everyone that's listening today to just keep hold of your promise and your dreams, because they are going to be manifested. And again, I'm Tasheka Green. I can be reached at the number 2, letter E, Seasons, or Tasheka Green. Follow me, subscribe to our page. Purchase a book. As Dr. Nicole said, there's about 15, 16 that are out there with my name, but I have helped so many other people as well. So please do that. Stay connected. And I would love to hear from you. And I do respond back. So make sure that, you send your email address, your number, so that I can respond back to you.
That's awesome. That is awesome. We certainly have enjoyed those powerful nuggets that you have certainly shared with us today on the Nicole Mason Show. And I know that you're going to continue to bless women and do this great work that you have been charged to do. And thank you for just being an example of what women can achieve, women who have all of these different passions within them, all of these different things that we can do as it relates to our calling, because the calling has tentacles, right?
Yes.
It shows up in a variety of different ways. And so I thank you for that. And so thank you all so much for listening to another great and powerful episode of the Nicole Mason Show. You can follow me all across social media at Nicole S. Mason, ESQ, website, www.NicoleSMason, that's NICOLE Mason.com. Join us again on the Nicole Mason Show, where we will be featuring another powerful, trailblazing, high-achieving woman who is a mover and shaker.